Approximately 6 p.m., September 9th, 2021, Farragut Board Mayor and Alderman meeting will now come to order. All Farragut Board Mayor and Alderman meetings are public notice per Tennessee state law. Our meetings can be seen live on Charter Channel 193, TDS Channel 3, as well as the Farragut YouTube channel and our website. It will be recorded and can be viewed later on Town of Farragut YouTube channel, as well as Charter Channel 193 and TDS Channel 3. During the regular posted agenda, all comments or questions from Farragut residents will now be in person. If you are interested in speaking, we ask that you please fill out a blue card with your name and address and agenda number and turn it into the town recorder prior to the start of the meeting. The mayor or the vice mayor shall maintain control of the meeting to provide a professional and objective environment, so please read the posted comment protocol and understand that there will be a 5-minute limit for each speaker. At the end of tonight's business meeting, there will be some time reserved for public comment under the Citizens Forum agenda, in which the same rules apply as a regular posted agenda item. Okay, we'll start tonight with a silent prayer, which will be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance to our country's flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'll now ask the town recorder to please take an attendance roll call for a quorum.
Alderman Burnett.
Here.
Alderman Meyer.
Here.
Alderman Pinchuk.
Here.
Alderman Povlin. Here. And Mayor Williams.
Mayor Williams here. Okay, approval of the agenda. Are there any agenda amendments?
Yes, sir.
None, okay.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay. All in favor of approval, please say yes.
Yes.
Let the record show that September 9th, 2020 agenda has been approved. Okay, next will be approval of minutes. Okay.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay. All in favor of approval, say yes.
Yes.
And let the record show that the August 26th, 2021 minutes have been approved and will be recorded as the official minutes of that meeting. Next will be the mayor's report. I have a few updates to announce tonight for the folks who are watching that have not had a chance to drive by our 4 major projects that are underway in our town. The old Kroger building is under slow demolition process as they are recycling as much of the old building structure as possible. You may have seen some very large concrete pipe joints sitting in the parking lot. They're part of the new stormwater drainage system that will be installed. On the north side of the freeway on Outlet Drive, the Top Golf Complex is undergoing mass grading and a wall construction is underway. They should be starting actual building construction in approximately 2 weeks, with the summer of 2022 as a project completion date. The Kingston Pike Village at South Watt Road is also under mass grading and tremendous wall construction going on, with the Food City to be underway very soon. You'll also notice that the Watt Road, Kingston Pike Road realignment is underway as well. There will be traffic back up on Watt Road for a few months to come. The total rebuilding of Concord Road is starting to take shape, even with many delays that they've run into. Also, our paving contractor is finishing up the road paving in Glen Abbey and will start on McPhee Road in the first of next week. I'll now yield the floor to the Vice Mayor for her report.
All right, I have a few things. First, I want to remind everyone, I don't think many need to be reminded, this Saturday is the 20th anniversary of the terror attacks of September 11th. I hope that all of us will pray for our country, pray for our soldiers who continue to serve very bravely. I am the mother of one of them, so I ask that you also pray for their families. And with that, I'm going to start with some of our reports. Julie Blaylock from the Farragut West Knox Chamber is here to give us her monthly report. Julie, can you just give us name and address for the record, please?
Certainly.
Julie Blaylock, 11826 Kingston Pike, Suite 110, at the Farragut West Knox Chamber of Commerce, office in Farragut. And thank you, Vice Mayor, for mentioning the 20th anniversary of 9/11. Both my parents were present for that in New York City, so it holds a great deal to us, and I echo your sentiments on that. What you have before you is just the monthly report of what's been going on at the Chamber of Commerce, new businesses that have joined, some activities and things coming up. I'll hit the highlights, and there's a couple things in particular I want to let you know about that might be of value to you or businesses that you come in contact with. As you can see, we did have 7 new businesses join, one of which is actually a home-based business in Farragut, Oksana Moses Photography. We've seen an influx over the last several years, but especially the last 18 months with the pandemic of home-based businesses as things have kind of shifted in the workforce culture. And I don't expect we'll see that changing anytime soon. We had 9 total events or programs that we hosted back in August. And then we had several other engagements in August. A couple things of note. We were pleased that we finally got to award a $500 reimbursement education scholarship to town staff, Trevor Hobbs. We did use and abuse Trevor a little bit as a ruse. We did give him his check, but it was an opportunity for us to surprise our business intern, who was a graduate of Farragut High School, Max Wegzen, alongside the mayor, with a $1,000 continuing ed scholarship. And I think the mayor can attest, although you didn't get to be around Max as much as we did, it was very hard to render that child speechless. But we succeeded, thankfully, and Michelle Hollenhead from the Farragut Press was there to record it, so thanks for the article, Michelle. We're going to clip it and send it to him. But, you know, it's part of one of the fun things that we get to do at the Chamber is give back to the community and give to our students and our growing entrepreneurs, and we're going to see him go into advertising design. I hope he comes back to East Tennessee from Detroit, where he's going to school, but we shall see. So glad we got to be part of his journey. A couple opportunities that I want to tell you about, one of which is not on paper here, but I know a lot of you are aware of the PPP and EIDL loans that got so many businesses through the pandemic. And the windows to apply for those are closed. However, you may not be aware there are several businesses that have had issues with their EIDL loans. Apparently, there were a lot of glitches in the system when you applied online with the SBA. It wasn't a fluid or perfect process. And so there were some instances where a window was supposed to pop up to prompt you to enter tax information. And if that window didn't populate and you didn't enter your tax information, your application for essential funding got thrown into a Netherlands. It was often declined, and then you had to resubmit for reapproval. And we've run into several businesses that fell into that crack. And where they got stuck was having to call the Small Business Administration every week asking for an update, always talking to a different agent. You guys know what that process is like. You've been through it in similar fashion. But for a lot of them, it's the difference between either getting that funding or closing their business. I'm happy to report that we discovered that we've got an ace in our pocket through the SBDC here in Knoxville. We have someone who is experienced with these disaster loans and knows a couple of the right people, and so we have been able to connect these businesses peripherally to that person and get their funding moving again. So if you hear of anyone, let them know about us. They don't have to be a member of the chamber. We just want to connect them to that money so they can keep their business afloat. The other thing that came our way recently was we do something called Affinity Benefits. So here and there, when opportunities arise to partner with member businesses and offer a discount or something, oftentimes for advertising, we will enter into that if it makes sense. Mercedes-Benz of Knoxville has been a member of ours for almost 30 years now. And so they have a new program where typically if you're a small business owner, you're familiar with the Mercedes Sprinter vans, the really nice big white vans that have the Mercedes logo on them. They're great work vehicles. They last a long time. It's that good German engineering. You typically can only qualify for the fleet discount on those vans if you order 25 or more of them. which is a lot if you're a small business and you only need 2 or maybe 3. If you're a member of the chamber now, however, we have a partnership with Mercedes. So all Mercedes has to do is verify their membership with us, and they will get that fleet discount pricing regardless of quantity. So if you know of a small business that's looking at that kind of purchase, just let them know. Our contact at Mercedes, who they should deal with, should let them know, but just in case, that might be something to tell them. FYI, holiday open house, the date on here is incorrect. That'll be coming on December the 7th, which is a Tuesday. I think I already sent that over to Sue. We're actually doing it as a 2-parter. So last year we had a drop-in day because of the pandemic. We liked the flexibility so much, as did the members, that we're going to do a brunch and an after hours. So you can have the option to attend one or both if you just want to be with us all day long. And then on the right-hand column, you have a list of upcoming events. Everything in blue is what's happening in Farragut or with Farragut. We've got several workshops and classes coming up. So on the 22nd, I sent it to the Vice Mayor. We have a workshop, Marketing Basics for New Businesses. We've discovered that with the influx of entrepreneurs and home-based businesses, marketing is just mystifying to them. You know, it's not enough just to have a Facebook page or an Instagram, although that is crucial. There's other things and materials that you need and other paths you need to pursue, but it can be very daunting and very expensive. When you have a small marketing budget, it's hard to know where to put those dollars. So we've contracted Epic 9 to come and teach that class. They are amazing. It is free to members. There is a $15 cost for non-members, but it's nominal, and it'll be here at Town Hall. And then on October the 6th, I know Trevor's not here, but the Small Business Development Center is going to do a Grow Your Business Using Pinterest, and that's going to be taught by 2-time entrepreneur and business owner Victory Harbin. She currently owns the social brand. She is under 30 and has already bought and sold a business and now has a second one. So she knows what she's doing. She's a great teacher. She loves to share her knowledge. That is totally free to anybody that wants to come and learn. And with that, I'll take questions if you have them.
Thank you, Julie, I appreciate it. I don't have any questions, but I appreciate this.
All right.
Great update.
Thank you.
All right, we have 4 committee reports. We're going to start with tourism with Candace Viax. Not going in order, sorry.
Matter.
Hi, everybody. I'm Candace Viox. Do you want me to give my business address or home?
Business is fine.
607 North Campbell Station Road, Knoxville, Tennessee, or Farragut, Tennessee, I guess I should say. 37934. I'm the owner of Water and Wine, and I'm also the chair for the Tourism Visitor Advisory Committee. We had a meeting and a discussion on August the 10th, 2021, and discussed our achievements that we were able to make during 2021. We had the approval of staff-initiated hotel rebate program for tournaments and groups. We participation in the focus group for the Parks and Rec Master Plan. And also the committee had representation and served on the RFQ subcommittee. That's request for quote. Then we decided to come up with some goals for 2022. I think you guys requested those for us. So number 1, we wanted to research possible donations and costs of a mobile visitor center and the basic needs of a mobile unit, if necessary, to make recommendations on funding to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen. Second, conduct intercept interviews to obtain zip code only information at local events. We have a lot of parks and events that come here, and we'd like to know where those people are traveling from and if they are staying with us here in Farragut. Number 3, to conduct intercept interviews at local hotel lobbies and restaurants using a staff-designed tourism survey. And the goal is to get at least 250 intercepts. I know my restaurant will be able to give you guys way more than that. The people that come in are often willing to fill out information to help tell our community if they're staying here, if they're spending here, if they're looking to live here, or why they're here. So I've had a lot of success in my restaurant, and I know there's many restaurants in Farragut that would be willing to do that. Number 4, distribute a QR code at local hotels, restaurants, and businesses with a link to staff-centered tourism survey. And a goal would be 1,000 responses from that QR code. The QR code tends to be something that the youngers absolutely walk in, they see it, they click on it. We can design something that also links it to our Shop Farragut and our Farragut Business and Visit Farragut website as well. So the QR code, if we were able to come up with a system that linked several of our Farragut, even real estate, business guides, things like that, that would help people that were coming in the area easily access some information about our town. And fifth, coordinate an in-person or virtual networking event introducing Farragut sales tax producing businesses to the Visit Farragut and tourism-related opportunities. I know I'm also on the Farragut Business Alliance Board, and we were talking about how we can mesh some of these different opportunities for businesses to be able to plug in. I think we're getting ready to see a huge growth of business come into Farragut. I know you guys have seen it in the traffic, and I know you guys have seen it in the real estate market. So it's real, and with that comes business. And they're going to want information. So I think that we have a good group of people that are working on our business guide that we talked about at yesterday's meeting. And I look forward to the tourism visitor advisories goal as well, because people are coming here to visit, and you never know if they're going to want to retire here later or things like that. So that's why I'm on both boards, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Candace, just adding to it, we are starting to, I know Trevor has started doing some workshops, and of course, the Chamber is hosting workshops with the SBDC, and obviously, all of that is going to help. Trevor is also producing a workshop that is Farragut-specific, introducing anyone who's interested in opening a business in Farragut. Hopefully, we can continue to, as we figure out how much demand there is for these workshops, I think that's very helpful, particularly with our in-home businesses that we hope someday, some of them may want to get into a brick and mortar, that we can make that transition a little less painful and they're a little bit more knowledgeable on the front before they even start looking. So once they start considering, they know where to go to get their information. I want to say I truly appreciate your service on both the Shop Farragut and the Visit Farragut boards. You own a business you are very passionate about. You've built a very high-quality business that is very unique to Farragut. I know sometimes people aren't very nice on reviews or whatever we get from social media. You're doing an incredible job for our community. You brought us up a bit with the scale of your business, the type of business that you have, and your efforts in our town are very much appreciated. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Lois. I appreciate that. Okay, you
I
guys
just
have a
wanted
great
to make
night.
just wanted to comment, let you
yes,
know, I
I'm
think
sorry.
these goals are very thoughtful, and I appreciate them. I think they're going to be very effective. So thank the committee for us.
I appreciate
you.
that. I'll let Karen know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, the next committee we're going to hear from is the Museum Committee, and that's with Bill Rhodes, I believe.
Let me find my notes first.
And your name and address, just for the record.
Okay. Good evening. My name is Bill Rhodes. I'm the chairman of the Museum Volunteers Committee. My address is 1206 Wilkinson Road, Knoxville, 37923. We've had a very strange last year, as everyone knows. We shut down for several months, but we reopened 3 days a week in, I think it was September, and we have since grown that to 5 days a week. For 2021, we believe we went above and beyond the the effort to reopen the museum during the COVID-specific accomplishments by the committee last year are as follows. The committee effectively held several museum group tours in 2021, and we will continue that in the coming year. Several new volunteers have been recruited and trained in the past year. We currently have a staff that is the largest I've ever seen in the 3 years that I've been on the museum committee. We trained them, and like I say, we're now open 5 days a week. The committee participated in 2 town events last year. The 4th of July parade required our committees and the mayor to rebuild the USS Hartford float, and we spent a good deal of time modifying that. We also participated in the Freaky Friday by representing the museum and helping with volunteers at the event. Our goals and projects for the next fiscal year, we will continue our mission statement, and all programs, events, exhibits, and merchandise have been designed to meet that mission statement. The Farragut Museum seeks to deepen the understanding of the history of not only our community and Admiral David Farragut, but we aim for the education and enrichment of diverse audiences. We intend to staff events planned by the Historic Resources Coordinator, which includes lectures and displays this year. We will provide museum tours to effectively include the Memorial Park and the Civil War Trail sign in our tours. We will procure additional relevant items to sell in the gift shop. We have significantly altered what we can offer in the gift shop, and I think that that will lead to increased sales, small as they are, but increased. To continue recruiting and training new volunteers, to promote the Friends of the Museum program by assigning a committee representative to promote the program at all events, to schedule docents for the museum and the gift shop, to continue efforts to identify and procure relevant artifacts for the museum collection, to represent the museum at other town events, including the 4th of July parade, Freaky Friday, and the Day of Infamy lecture. We expect that there will be a reunion in October of veterans from the USS Farraguts, the various ships that have served our Navy in the past. And I, for one, being a Navy veteran, am looking forward to that and swapping old sea stories. So any questions?
I don't have any questions, but first, thank you for your service. We appreciate that, and we appreciate your service on this committee. As you know, we can't do this without folks like you that are willing to step up and take the initiative to do these things. So we really appreciate your time.
Well, thank you very much. When I applied, I gave my principal interest as being naval history and Civil War history, so I think I fit in pretty well.
You do.
Yeah.
Very well. Thank you, Mr. Rhodes. We appreciate it. All right, the next one is our Arts and Beautification Committee, and that's Diane Duncan.
Diane Duncan, and my address is 632 Augusta National Way, Farragut, 37934. You all are very impressive, but we're the fun group. So this is what we achieved this past 2020-21. We participated in a focus group for the Parks and Recreation Plan, participated in my favorite, the drive-through Freaky Friday. I love that. Just throw the candy in the car and move on. So the next one is we participated in Light the Park giveaways and awarded our holiday beautification awards. Decorated the town hall for Christmas, And we also set up our very successful first art show. So, moving on to this year. So, what we have on our agenda is this Sunday, Farragut Art Fest, which is going to replace the Book Fest. It's for children, young kids. It'll be held at the community center on Sunday. So I hope you all bring your kids, grandkids, nieces, nephews. It's going to be so much fun. Both inside and outside will be the activities, such as monster paint blowing. We have Q-tip painting, pom-pom gluing, X-ray hands, my favorite, spin art, and my all-time favorite, water gun painting. Thank you. So next, the Farragut holiday decorating. The committee, along with the Parks and Recreation staff, will decorate the town hall and the community center for the holiday starting Friday, November 19th. Public Works will also decorate Campbell Station Park, including 2 pavilions, blue spruce trees, the light post, along with additional decorations for the Farragut Business Alliance holiday lighting event and Ralph McGill Plaza. The 28th, it'll be the 28th annual Town of Farragut Celebrate the Season holiday event. This event will be held on Thursday, December 2nd, from 4:30 to 7. Planned activities include Santa from 4:30 to 6, where the kids can take their pictures with Santa, participate in cookie decorating, face painting, and we're also going to show a short movie. And also cookies, treats, and so forth. So moving on, sponsor classes at the town hall. The committee will be a sponsor to a quarterly class and/or program held at the community center by recruiting instructors and/or speakers who can educate the community on the topic of related purposes of our committee, such as art, decorating, or research of upcoming events. If necessary, providing financial support for these classes, and the date is yet to be determined. Last but not least, the Pleasant Forest Cemetery Living History event, which I have yet to experience. The event will be held in the spring of 2022 and will feature women. Actors will be hired to play well-known people who are in our Pleasant Forest. And that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Diane. We really appreciate it. I'm excited that the Pleasant Forest Living History event's coming back. That was an exciting event. And then we appreciate your service on that committee. And the last one is Parks and Rec, and Sue Stoll will be providing that.
Yes, Bob couldn't make it after all tonight, so I'm going to fill in real quick for him. For the Parks and Athletics Council, their achievements from last year were that they attended a successful online field allocation process. They approved a staff-initiated rebate for tourism. They participated in a focus group for the Parks and Recreation Master Plan. They made a recommendation to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen for about tournament fees, policies, and also regular rental fees. And then they kicked off the Light the Park event with a cookie giveaway. For this year, I'm going to start sort of in reverse order. They're going to again kick off the Light the Park event with a cookie giveaway on that Tuesday after the countdown event. They are going to participate in Freaky Friday again, and we will be back at the park, we hope. So they will make recommendations and based on staff research about rental fees, tournament fees, and all that they do. They will serve as the jury for discrepancies during field allocation, which is a little like watching sausage being made if you've ever witnessed it. And then the big thing for the next 4 months, they will be serving as the steering committee for the Parks and Recreation Master Plan. So they're going to take all the information we've gotten and put it into some kind of project and initiatives list for the Board of Mayor and Aldermen.
When's the deadline for that? This weekend?
for the citizen survey on Sunday. So if anyone hasn't done it, please, you can get it off of our Facebook page, Parks and Rec Facebook pages. There's lots of places to get that link, so please do so.
Thank you, Sue, we appreciate it.
Hey, Sue, quick question. Have we received any feedback on the rebate for tourism from any
Not
sports
yet,
programs?
not yet. We have a fair amount of tournament requests or tournaments that have been approved for next spring, so I'm hoping that they will start using that. They've all been told about it and informed and everything, so I don't think they've gotten to the point where they're making those kind of reservations. They just get their tournament fees or tournament requests in early, so.
Thank you, Sue. That was all the reports we had.
Okay. Thanks to all for the reports. This really helps us, and it's most appreciated. Okay, next will be business items. We have 3 business items on tonight's agenda. We'll start off with the approval of the professional service agreement from Urban Engineering, Inc. for design of the Sonya Drive sidewalk extension.
Yes, this is an agreement with Urban Engineering for the Sonya Drive sidewalk. You'll recall in our discussions in the CIP back in the spring, the idea is to go ahead with design of the full length of sidewalk extension from the end of the existing sidewalk at Admiral Road back into Stonecrest Center all the way to Orrin Road. Once we have the full design, we'll be better able to determine a budget for construction and right-of-way and figure out how much of it we want to build in the next fiscal year. So this length of sidewalk is 2,900 feet. I believe there are 29 properties that will be impacted. It shouldn't be anything more than easements that we will need, but that can take a little while. All that being said, the fee outlined in the proposal is a not-to-exceed limit of $58,975 with a 180-day completion time for final plans. Staff recommends approval of this agreement with Urban Engineering for design of the Sonya Drive sidewalk extension as presented.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay. Questions or comments? None, okay.
I will say that Chris Sharp from Urban Engineering
I
is
have
with
a
us
few.
tonight. If you have any questions for him.
Okay.
Okay, on discussion, we'll start out with Vice Mayor Pavlin.
I already got a chance to talk to Darrell Smith for some of the questions I had, but I thought I'd bring them up so that you guys understood. My original hope was that we would be able to get construction done for at least the section of Admiral to Dundee, but after talking with Darrell and understanding that Chris is probably going to have to do a few different versions because he's not quite sure what side of the street the sidewalk will be on, if they'll have to switch sides depending upon topography and such. But I did indicate that my biggest concern is that we try very hard for the Admiral Road to Dundee Road section remain on the north side, mostly because that's the heaviest traveled area and where people are traveling the fastest. So getting them across the street at that Admiral Road, if you have it on the south side at that Admiral Road, Sonya Drive intersection could be a little trying and a little nerve-wracking. So that's my biggest wish, is that portion. Try to keep that north of, if at all possible. I understand that engineering design, you're kind of stuck with what the topography tells you can and can't do. So, and also in here, if you'll note, if you guys read the write-up, there's an existing mid-block crosswalk by the high school. We had toyed with the idea of a raised crosswalk. The problem is that's on an incline, and if we just had that, people would be launching themselves off of that. And of course, some kids would probably think that was a challenge to launch themselves off of that, but
We want to slow them down, not kill
yes.
them.
Daryl is proposing, our first step is to maybe put in flashing beacons, which I think is a good first step, because that's probably a little less expensive than trying to put a raised crosswalk and then another speed hump right next to it to slow people down to go over the, although I would love to just really slow people down, so that would have been really effective, but this is probably a more cost-effective solution. So I'm happy with this. I understand everything takes time, and right-of-way is probably going to take longer than we want it to. It's going to push us into fiscal year '23 anyway. So that's all I had.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Alderman Burnett,
I don't have any questions.
nothing. Okay. Alderman Meyer.
So the only question I have, Daryl, is, I'll make sure I get this right. There's an Exhibit C that breaks out the cost of the extension, and the total's about $490,000. Am I looking at?
Yes.
Okay, so just as because of my ignorance, I'm just curious. So 40% of the cost is coming from driveway replacement. And when I look at the next item, which I know we're not talking about it right now, but when I look at driveway replacement on that project, it's basically, the cost is like $6,250. So I'm going to ask you, could you just kind of explain what's involved in that?
Well, one has 29 driveways,
Okay.
plus or minus, the other has about 4.
So 40% of this cost is replacing driveway stuff, or right?
On
I mean,
Sonya,
yeah, okay, all right. Just to make sure I understood. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Alderman Benchop.
Yeah, I just have a point of clarification here. Alderman Pavlin, you were asking a question about the sidewalk on the north side versus south side. Is it possible this sidewalk's going to be flipping from one side to the other, or are we trying to do it the whole? I thought we were going to do the whole thing on the north end,
Yeah.
We're trying to.
but it may not work
We're,
that way.
we're
Yeah.
trying to, but the problem is sometimes the topography is such that you have a greater impact on a couple of properties. And you might want to switch it over to the other side of the road if you can make that work. We just try to balance it out and reduce the impact, the overall impact. As you know, I'm not a big fan of mid-block crossings. So most likely, if we can, it will stay on the north side of Sonya Drive.
Scares me to have children crossing back and forth across the road,
Yeah.
that road especially.
I agree.
So anything we can do. Now, is it mainly right-of-way that we're going to be working with, or are you going to have to do some purchasing of property to?
It would really just be easements, I'm
Just
sure.
easement. Okay.
He's going to bring us a few different plans for us to discuss, so that these issues will be something we can resolve. I agree with you. Once you get past Dundee, though, that becomes really, that's just within the neighborhood travel. So it's not quite as heavily traveled and at a speed as that portion between Dundee and Admiral Road is part of the cut-through. People come up Newport Road, up Dundee, and then down Sonya. So that's why that
I agree.
part is so important to me.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. Ideally, it should all be on one side.
Okay.
Ideally, I would like to see that.
I'll defer to Chris, but my own recollection is it shouldn't be an issue to keep it on the north side, at least to Dundee. And Chris saw it since I have, so.
Okay,
I have no further questions.
thank you. My question is, on that crosswalk, could we not put a speed table there and make it a crosswalk? They have it at UT, and it's on the inclines over there, and I don't.
Right.
It's a.
We can look into that. I mean, a speed table is just a wider speed bump.
Right.
We can look into that.
It's more gradual. When you don't see launches.
Minor launches, but
Well, I mean, I purposely went over there with a camp chair
yeah.
and a cooler and sit and watched for a while, and it's not that bad. People see it, they slow down, they go over it, and then they gas it, go on. So it's
They were probably slowing down, wondering what you were doing there.
They couldn't see me. I was behind a tree.
Okay.
That big tree over.
Can we strike that? Just-
Well, and I will say this for everyone, Sonya, that neighborhood Farragut view is currently in the queue for another analysis for traffic calming. So obviously, that's the time to have that conversation too, so. I'm all for whatever we can to make that crosswalk safer, because I think with our mixed-use town center coming in, that's going to be a heavily used access point, especially on the weekends, because there's no traffic on Farragut High School campus. People with families are going to want to have as few traffic interactions as possible on their way over to something that might be happening in mixed-use town center. So anything we can do proactively to start looking at that is, I think, a good idea.
Okay, one other question. We don't have any NEPA concerns with this?
No.
Okay. I was hoping we didn't, so. Okay, that's all I have, and with the proper discussion and a motion on the floor that's been seconded, all in favor of the motion, please say yes.
Yes.
Let the record show that the agreement has, with urban engineering, has been approved. Okay, next will be approval of the professional service agreement from urban engineering for design of the Evans Road Greenway connection.
Yes, as you said, this is an agreement for Evans Road Greenway connection between cottages at Price Farm and the farm at Willow Creek. It's about 1,400 feet long. It will be, should remain on the the north side of Evans Road with the mid-block crossing once it gets to the Greenway at the Price Farm. This agreement with Urban has a not-to-exceed fee of $28,050, has the same schedule as the sidewalk project, 180 days. Once we have the plans, we'll try to move forward and obtain easements for construction in the next fiscal year. Staff recommends approval of this agreement with Urban Engineering for design of Evans Road Greenway connection as presented.
Okay.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, thank you. Any, none?
sir.
Okay. Discussions, we'll start out with Alderman Meyer.
Pass.
Okay. Alderman Pinchot.
Pass.
Alderman Burnett.
I mean, I just add, this is a critical connection for us on the south side, similar to the Smith Road connection that's going on now. This is our Smith Road connection,
Yeah.
and it gets us one step closer to the Brixworth Greenway that connects down through Turkey Creek. So I'm excited this one's getting on the schedule. You know, I don't think we need a mid-block crossing, but I do hope we can have some very nice, colorful paint. And you know, nobody's used to having people on that road because it's a little scary. It's
Right.
not really designed to have a lot of cars, and I don't see a lot of cars coming, new cars right now, but hope we can really highlight that area on the road because nobody's used to seeing pedestrians.
Sure. Well, it's also important to, you mentioned this is like the Smith Road sidewalk connection. A couple more projects, and we should have Virtue Road completed with a greenway that would go all the way up to Broadwood. And, well, pedestrian facilities, well, I say Broadwood, really, actually all the way to Kingston Pike.
Yeah.
So it's very definitely an important connection for us.
I'm just going to echo what Alderman Burnett said. This is so critically important. I know this is something a lot of the residents in that area have long awaited, so it's just as exciting as the Smith Road. This is, it is impressive to me when I look at the Greenway sidewalk system that we've built in this town over 30 years, when people would say, well, that's not going to ever attach to something else, and it does. Over the years, we've managed to build a really enviable Greenway sidewalk system. That is what's keeping Farragut, one of the things that's keeping Farragut in demand. People are moving here because they like our sidewalk Greenway system, and I'm just amazed that we've managed to do what we do without a property tax. It's stunning to me what we've managed to do over the years. And it's been good study leadership for 41 years by people who are dedicated to keeping Farragut a beautiful place to live. So thank you, and I really appreciate that we're finally getting this one done too.
Well, this one's near and dear, like Drew, to me as well, because it's a missing link. We've had a lot of the residents in that area that get out and walk and go to the park, and they would like to have this. It's kind of a dangerous road to walk on without it, and this will help tremendously. And as a bike rider, I think a lot of the bike riders will. This is, again, a missing link that has been needed to be done for quite some time. I'm glad we're finally getting around to it, just like we did with Smith. So, okay. With that, I'll say all in favor of the motion. Please say yes.
Yes.
Okay, let the record show that the agreement has been approved. Okay, thank you, Darrell. And Chris, I'm sorry we didn't get to rattle your cage there, but I don't think there was any questions for you.
Darrell bailed me out.
Okay, next will be approval of resolution R21 or 2021-08. This is a resolution to adopt a special event co-sponsorship policy.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll take this one tonight.
Okay.
The town has had a special event policy in place for several years. However, we have not had one necessarily on ones that we as the town co-sponsor. And those co-sponsorships include anything where we would be a sponsor of with an organization that's off-site at another location, not on town property, and then any event that we would have that is on town property that we co-sponsor. This resolution tonight would allow the town administrator, myself, or Miss Sue Stool, our Parks Director, to contract with outside nonprofits, organizations, or businesses for community-wide special events, and also allow us to make minor modifications if we see fit for those events. It also specifies what family-friendly type events are, and make sure that people will follow those rules and directions for making sure that the ones that we do sponsor are family-friendly if need be. So with that, we'd ask for approval of Resolution R-2021-08.
Move to approve?
Second.
Okay, discussion. We'll start off with Alderman Meyer.
I just want to voice my support of the resolution. It's unfortunate that there was an event that caused this to come about, but I want to commend the staff and the sponsors that had to deal with that situation in order to bring some kind of solution like this. So thank you for your steady hand and your ignoring of lots of negative social media. You stood steady and you got the job done, and I thank you for that. No further comment.
Thank you.
Alderman Burnett.
Yeah, I had a couple things. One, I think where it says anything rated P or PG, I'm assuming you meant G.
G, yes, sir.
So one comment to that, PG covers a lot, and there's definitely profanity in PG. So I think if we are going to be having PG and we promote family friendly, that could be, there's definitely kids my age that I would not want watching that. So I think you need to somehow govern that a little better, because we talk about no profanity, but PG has plenty of profanity. I think it would be nice to add a section that just says artists attending, so you know up front, and somebody in 30 seconds could look at the 3 or 4 artists coming and make sure that we're comfortable with that. And then the last thing, I would want us to consider a penalty. I mean, when I read through this, I'm very thankful that we're putting something in place, but if somebody breaks it, they just break it, and maybe they don't get to come again. But if it hurt them, I can assure you they're going to go the extra mile on their end to make sure that whatever type of program they're putting on meets the standards that that we're putting in place here. Whereas with the current agreement, they could break it and they could just not come back. So those are my comments.
Okay. Alderman Pinchot.
I have to agree with the comments that Alderman Burnett just made, especially about the artist having a penalty. I think we need to make some changes in this. Is it possible to go back and revisit this before we approve it tonight?
We can certainly make changes now if the board is agreeable to those changes, or we can bring something back to you after your discussion tonight and have it on the next agenda.
Let's work it out now because it's a resolution, okay?
My question was, I didn't know if our attorney had reviewed this, or is this?
He has.
He has.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'd like to know what changes you'd actually want to put in there. How would you reward what you just said? Because I agree with you, but
Yeah, I mean, I would say adding a section that says guests attending or artists attending, whatever the program is. I know we're all thinking about one certain program, but it's got to fit all the programs. So guests attending or performing, and then you list out who it is. The penalty, if you break this contract, there will be a penalty of $500. And then the last one for the G and the PG, I guess you would have to say if you're going to show a PG event at a family-friendly event, you make sure that you've got the edited or, I don't know what to do there,
I
but.
don't know, why don't you just leave it as G?
Yeah.
Family friendly, just leave it
that's
as
what I agree.
G.
Okay.
We can leave it that way.
Because you're trying to make it G anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
So leave it G.
Sue, I got a question for her. Are there other resolutions like this in other communities nearby that you pulled this from, or how did we come about this document?
No, this doesn't, there's not a lot of this going around. I got it from various contracts people, groups had with their performers, and then just put it all together, and Tom Hale and I went through it all, so he's very comfortable with this.
Does Tom have any comments about penalties? Because I have a different perspective than what's been communicated.
Well, I don't know how you would enforce penalties because we're not actually giving money. We don't actually give money except for Farragut Business Alliance as a sponsorship or Chamber as a sponsorship. The rest are in kind or use of. To me, the penalty would be they'd never be allowed back if you break it.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's
I
done,
agree with that.
you know. If we can't trust them, I don't think that we would want to try it again. So
Is if we're not going to penalize them, can we pull, and if they start a performance, and somebody's got to make the decision if they follow in this resolution or not, and actually pull that act or I
well,
mean,
if it's at our park, somewhat, yes. We usually have a staff person, but not always, because we don't have many staff. So we have staff that might come and go. Lawn chair, we usually have someone there because of the amount of trash. But like movies at McGill, they come and check the restroom and leave. So it would be pretty hard for us to do that. And anything that's not our event, we don't have staff that staff those, so.
I'll say first a few things. One, I agree, I have a hard time with the monetary penalty. You can explain to an artist, this is what the event is, this is what our expectations are, but the minute you hand over a live mic to someone, you are relying on them and trusting that they're making good decisions based on your event that you've been invited to. So it's hard to hold the sponsor of the event responsible for something that somebody else has done. But I appreciate that you want to have some kind of maybe an expectation where we relay to the person, I know this does this, but that they're having that, they can understand it, that they're having that conversation with their artists. That these are the expectations. So is there a way to make, I'm not sure if it's in here clearly stated, that you're going to have this conversation with your artists?
I don't think this policy states that, but I know that another organization we have been talking to has already developed a form and a thing because they pay artists to show up to these events.
Yeah.
And I believe they've got some penalties in there for those artists. So the issue is for the penalty part of it, we'd be penalizing maybe the event organizer or something like that. We would not be penalizing the
artist,
artist
yeah.
per
That's
se.
why I'm uncomfortable,
Yeah.
because I want a partnership with these organizations. My thought when I read this was the intent was to communicate an expectation. It wasn't to communicate an expectation and punish if the health doesn't follow it. I think it's enough punishment to say you just won't be invited back.
Well, maybe
and the only thing I would just make is like, how many years have we had this lawn chair? Let's just call it what it is.
5 years.
5 years. In 5 years, we had one-off event. It was unfortunate. It was disgusting. I'm very sad it happened. But what I don't want is to create a process that's cumbersome,
Yeah.
that puts us at risk of really alienating our partners because there was a one-off event.
Yeah.
And I think that it is fair to say your punishment is you don't come back.
This, we add in a statement that, like what they just did, that you have a policy that you share with, or this policy gets shared with the artist, something along those lines. Can we add that comment in? That this,
Not always artists. I know we're thinking in that terms, but it's not
It's
always artists.
It could be the
other.
movies, it could be something
Other
as simple
activities.
as a co-sponsored putt-putt, and we just want to make sure that everything's up and up there, So we'll administer this across the board. We won't pick and choose anything that we are sponsoring in the way that our name is on it. Now, if it's something that's in town that we have no name on, no, and if it's something in town that they're renting from us, they'll understand the basic rules, but, they may have an adult thing at the plaza, and that's allowed. So that's a different ballgame, so.
well, can we place in there if this is a performing artist, or in the case of a performing artist, that this expectation is shared with them? Can we put that line in there?
I think we can put in whatever we'd like
Yeah.
to make sure that the organizer has explained these rules that they're under to their artist.
Yeah.
Again, as Sue says, though, when that artist shows up, or whoever shows up, they can do all sorts of things.
Understood, but
Right.
at least we have that extra added. Our expectation is that you're not just agreeing to this. If you have a performing artist, that you have shared that expectation with them.
And we can put that line in here, something about sharing this with any subcontractor it would be, because it could be a lot of different things.
If you allow us a
a
little latitude in forming that language, we can work with the town attorney to get that
Okay.
properly put in here.
I'm fine with that. The artist attending list, if you have artists, and then that particular language. I would be comfortable with that.
I would
We
too.
can ask, like, the artists, and if it's a movie, what the movie is, and all that kind of stuff.
And just one thought, Sue, on the movie. I just looked up the 2 movies that we've shown. Both of those are PG.
Yeah,
And they're very G movies.
Yes.
But they're PG. The Incredibles
Right.
and Moana.
Right.
2 great kid movies.
right,
But there are also very many PG movies that are
right,
not
right.
kid movies.
What if we said something to the effect of PG movies that are edited, if there was edited for content, to make sure they're family friendly, they meet the rules of the family
Well,
friendly?
yeah, we could say that the PG movie must meet these rules,
Right.
and we can add that caveat to it, sure.
That works.
I'll have one thing. In the past, I've seen in beach communities where the promoter has a basic contract that they sign with the artist, and it tells all the rules. They sign off on it, and if they violate that, then if it's a live performance, they just pull the plug. I mean, that's because I've seen that happen.
That's their policy, not our policy.
Well, it would be based on our policy.
Yes.
The contract would be.
And to be very, very fair, because I'm not sure everyone I know you all do, but everyone understands what happened to precipitate this. That's exactly what happened, only it happened in a way that didn't embarrass or upset anyone. That came later. But that night, it was cut short without a big to-do to make it a big thing. So as soon as they were aware that there was an issue, it was taken care of. So,
And I think they should be commended for that.
Yes, they handled it appropriately.
yes.
Should we have something in here that states that whoever's putting on the event should handle it themselves appropriately? I mean, is there some language that's
don't
their
know.
responsibility, not ours, is what I'm getting at?
Alderman, I don't know if we have to get that specific in the policy. I think certainly if we have staff on site and we're getting complaints or anything like that, we can address it immediately if we need to. If we're there.
If we're
I think that's
there.
the key.
And
If it's on site,
yeah,
we're there.
the town attorney, as we were talking through this, he wants to be specific, but not too specific, as you can see. So, you get into the legalese, and then you actually end up allowing things that you don't want to.
I want to take this one step further. Steve, could you please step up to the mic if you don't mind?
Hi, Steve Krimpaski, 404 Justice Valley Street, Farragut, Tennessee.
The reason I asked Steve is you're a promoter. You have been most of your adult life. Give us a little bit of insight from the promoter's point of view here.
Well, you've just wiped out any kind of promotions that an outside promoter would want to come to this community. You've probably opened yourselves up to a lot of, if this passes, a lot of scrutiny by national organizations about artists' rights, diversity, equity, inclusion, all kinds of things. But I guess the caveat is if it's a co-sponsored event, you can go ahead and set your rules for that and then decide not to co-sponsor anything. But then again, you would have pride organizations, African-American organizations, other organizations that may have wanted to come to Farragut to do some activity that probably would not make the grade here as a G event. And that opens yourself up to another whole bunch of things going on.
Can I make a comment? This is very important, that this policy has nothing to do with exactly what Steve just mentioned. It has everything to do with making sure that content is not obscene or vulgar or profane, or talks about illegal drugs or deemed inappropriate for children. But the policy goes on to say that the organization agrees that no person in the United States shall, on the grounds of race, color, national origin, or disability, be excluded from participation in, be denied the benefits of, or be subject to discrimination at any event, program, or activity on town property or co-sponsored by the town. So we want to be inclusive. We want people to be involved. We're just saying the content that you're having cannot be sexually explicit, cannot have any kind of vulgarity or obscenity. In other words, in our case, family friendly. For those types of events, there can be other events that you have that are not family friendly. We just want to make sure that if they label them as family friendly, there's rules and regulations around that. So you can have both.
I agree, but you have to make that widely known, because if, you know the way the news is, they'll pick off something and it just gives an impression. They won't read all of what you've said here, but that is the overall impression that this gives to.
I will say this, I'm sorry, Mr. Krimpaski, for interrupting. I mean, we have our event, the singer-songwriter event, and that is not a family-friendly event. And it is not billed that way, it is not presented that way. It is intended to be an adult event. So we're towing a line here where we have if we're going to have a very family-oriented event, we need to define that and toe that line. And I think this does that. I agree with town administrators, because I understand what you're saying, and so that's something we have to be aware of.
Well, I think when it passes, we have to make a statement that, makes it broad, that I understand that, the town is protecting itself from a lot of wasted time of individuals who don't really care about an artist's performance or profanity or some other type of things that are just not, conducive to, a family event. But we may have to just be very careful of moving that forward and the perception that it may be out in the community. Because I can't wait to get a venue opened here and start doing some activities, and that it may include artists that have different opinions and different strokes. So that's my only overarching view as you proceed through this. So
That's the reason I called you up. I wanted an opinion.
So by passing this, are we limiting our sponsorship to just G events?
No, sir, you are not.
That we say is family
That
friendly.
we are labeling as family, and then we advertise the lawn chair concert as, hey, come on by, and it's rated G,
family-friendly.
it's
Yeah.
family free, or family friendly, okay.
Yes.
Okay. I'm good.
Steve, I
Thank you.
appreciate you coming up.
Thank you.
We already have
I
that.
know you probably weren't expecting
And
that.
I just want to make sure I understood before I voted, yep.
Yeah.
I want it on the record.
Okay, at this point, I think we need to probably table the resolution to be brought up at a later date.
Completely up to the board. If you'd like to table it till next meeting, we can.
That's fine. Let's get it right.
Yeah.
Have it in writing and know what we're looking at.
We'll take those recommendations that the board had, and we'll put those in and get those back to you.
Thank you.
Okay, let the record show that said resolution R 2021-08 has been tabled till the next meeting.
To take a vote on that? To table it?
You can if you'd like to, you can officially do that. That's
Okay.
fine.
All in favor of that motion?
Well, we need a motion to table.
Amended motion.
Do we need to withdraw the first motion, or how does this work? Amend the motion to table?
You can amend the motion to table it.
Did I make the motion?
I
Yes.
don't know that we,
Move to amend the motion to table this till the next meeting.
And
I think
that
I
was
seconded that.
Scott that seconded
Yep,
that, so,
second.
okay. Okay, now we can take a vote. All in favor of the amended motion, please say yes.
Yes.
Let the record show that said resolution R 2021-08 has been tabled to the next meeting. Okay, next will be a town administrator's report. David, I hope I didn't steal your thunder from mine, but
No, absolutely not, Mayor. You can steal my thunder anytime you'd like to. So we have some great events coming up. I think earlier we talked about Art Fest this Sunday at the Community Center from 1 to 3. Next weekend, we have the Lawn Chair Concert Series, the second event at Founders Park on Saturday from 5 to 9 p.m. And then also we have a free putt-putt day that we go in conjunction with putt-putt on Monday, September 20th from 12 o'clock to 9 p.m. that day. So a big long range of time there to take your kids out and enjoy a free day of putt-putt. All of these events, by the way, can be found on visitfarragut.org. Sue and her staff have done a great job of getting that updated, and is a great website, so hopefully you get a lot of great information on there, and people use it to find out what's going on in town. And with that, that's all I have to report, Mayor.
yeah, one more thing. September 25th.
What's that?
Y'all get a day off.
That is, well, it's my birthday.
Isn't it? Or is it Farragut holiday? Town
The
hall.
free flu shot Saturday. So
you go.
we will be having looks like I'll be working that day at free flu shot Saturday. We'll be doing all sorts of drive-by shootings that day. It will be at Farragut High School. It'll be the Farragut Rotary and the UT students, Pellissippi State students. Many of the nursing students come and help. But I think we usually give out around 1,000 shots that day for the flu. So we're looking forward to having a good crowd come
That
through.
starts at,
I believe 8 a.m. and goes till around noon.
and it's 2 locations this year.
Yes, sir. It's going to be both at Farragut High School and at Hardin Valley Middle School in our area. There's other schools as well, but the 2 out west are those 2.
Okay. Anyone else have anything to report?
Yeah, we had a pretty big work anniversary for somebody in the room.
Yeah, yeah.
I believe 30, is it right? 30 years, Miss Sue Stool?
Yeah, Sue Stool with 30 years.
A lot of things you think of when you talk about Farragut, and one of the top at most everybody's list is parks. And, I mean, she has been at the helm the whole way, 30 years, and look at our parks, our greenways, just a ton of gratitude from a person who has used those fields, and then as families come in, it's, you know, we take great pride in what you have led throughout the last 3 decades. So thank you for your service.
And your vision.
Yes.
Your vision as well, because without that, well, you can see some of the other towns that don't have anything close to what we have in that respect.
And her grant
Oh, yeah,
getting
hardworking.
ability.
Thank you.
Well, that is right behind this
Right behind
building.
us. That's right.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you. The time is approximately 7:10, and without objection, September 9th, 2021 Farragut Board of Mayor and Aldermen meeting is now adjourned.